is Dorama, a show where I get to review different Korean as well as Asian dramas and films. So this week I wanted to talk about Cheer Up, which is a newer drama on Viki, and the story centers around Do HaeYi, who is a freshman at Yonhee University. And so HaeYi comes from a poor family and is constantly working odd jobs to be able to pay her college tuition, as well as support her younger brother and her mom. As the drama begins with her coming to Yonhee and, going through the normal freshman orientation process. And there she is able to sign up and join HaeYi, which is a cheering squad, that has a long history at the university, but is kind of embroiled in a few different scandals. And so being the natural person that she is, of constantly counting her pennies and, trying to scheme to make $1, she actually ends up joining HaeYi due to the promise of a former HaeYi alum paying her every month, and as well as whenever she meets those major milestones for her participation. And so, just in general, after a few episodes, I do have to say that I really love this drama, and I actively look forward to the new episodes that are coming out. The theme song, which is like the Yonhee fight song, is honestly so, I guess, like fun, peppy, and full of spirit. And even though it doesn't exist, I really feel I'm in an actual college, pep rally. And so not to mention the main character, HaeYi, is honestly probably one of the most funny, spunky, and feisty characters that I've seen in a while. In the first episode, HaeYi accidentally overhears her boyfriend talking to someone about how she's too much to handle and how he wants to start fresh in college and he wants to break up with her. And he just can't do it anymore with her. And so, rather than running up and telling him off, HaeYi kind of bides her time, ignores him for 2 weeks, and breaks up with him by embarrassing him in front of all of his new classmates at university by saying that he's too small. But the way that she implies it makes you think that she's talking about something else, but in reality, she ends it with saying, your heart is just too small. So it's just really funny, and honestly, that's a good example of how kind of feisty and spunky she is as a person. But as HaeYi continues to participate in the cheer squad, she soon finds herself in the middle of a love triangle. With the heartthrob of the freshman class, Sunho, and the captain of this cheer squad, JungWoo. But like any good Korean drama, there's always some kind of caveat, right? So the cheer squad has a rule where, there's a pretty strict rule of no relationships with other members of the cheer squad. So it's interesting to see how these relationships end up turning out. But I would have to say one of the funniest scenes of this love triangle, is after a night of celebrating, after the big homecoming event, HaeYi had a little too much to drink and, is passed out in the back of the taxi while both Sunho and JungWoo escort her home. And so HaeYi's head, accidentally falls on JungWoo's shoulder. And instead of just letting her rest it there, Sunho actually grabs HaeYi's head and tilts it onto his shoulder and gives JungWoo a snarky look. So it's just kind of fun to see, their dynamics back and forth of kind of knowing that, they like each other, but they can't like each other at the same time. But, to counteract all of that peppy, happy nature of the cheer squad, the team does have an old prophecy from a former HaeYi member hanging over their heads. And so according to this former HaeYi member who became a shaman, someone on the team is expected to die this year. And it seems like they're really targeting HaeYi for, the person who unfortunately will be murdered. So she's kind of fighting, her own personal problems as well as whenever she goes to cheer practice, someone keeps trying to hurt her. So it's interesting to see kind of how she maintains her peppy attitude while struggling on all different fronts. So overall, it's a really great drama. What I would 100% recommend that you go and watch it. It's hilarious, it's funny, it's a little spooky, perfect for that Halloween season, but 100% would recommend to go watch it. But thanks for tuning in to my show Dorama, and see you next week.